Hey guys, Joshua in the woods. Hope you all are well. We're in Laguna Beach, behind my place. I decided to trek out into the hills back here, and what I thought was going to be just a quick jaunt out here ended up being, oh gosh, I guess it's been an hour and a half of just trekking up this hill through Chaparral. If any of you have trekked through dry Chaparral, you know it's not that easy to get through, so I'm a little sweaty, but I finally got to a spot. So here we are. I'll show you what I'm looking at the end. It's quite nice. So, a note on positivity. A little while back, there were several videos that came out on the message of being positive. Yeah, and they're nice. They're good. It was good to watch. It's always good to hear people talking about being positive, being good. So I appreciated that. I was thinking of adding too at that point when positive, the videos on positivity were coming out. I was thinking about coming out with something, but I decided not to, because I really wanted to reflect, and I have been for, I don't know, a couple months now, on what it means to be positive. What does it mean? I think a lot of times when people say be positive, I think most of the time people are saying kind of don't be a jerk or just be nice or be kind. And that is positive, not being a jerk or being kind. That's positive. But I started to think, like, what is required to be positive? What is required to stay positive? And it's quite. It's not really something that can be kind of spoken of in an easy way, or just told in an easy way. There's other things that are required to be positive, other traits, and without those traits, positivity is not possible. So I thought of a few: tolerance, forbearance, kind of the same thing, understanding, compassion. Without those traits, positivity is not possible. You know, if we don't have understanding and compassion and tolerance, our positivity runs very thin, because the moment, you know, somebody says something against you, or somebody cuts you off in traffic, or, you know, you get sick, you get injured, whatever the case, if you don't have these other traits, positivity just kind of flies out the door. Why tolerance? Well, because life is filled with affliction. Life is filled with things that we don't want to happen. It's the unfortunate circumstance of life. But it's not so unfortunate, actually. We'll touch on that. Why compassion and understanding? If somebody was to afflict us with bodily harm, or let's say harsh words, if that touches our ego in a way that we don't like, if it kind of harms us internally, if we don't have understanding of that other person's possible ignorance or difficulties in life, maybe they're going through some stuff and they've lashed out, you can guarantee that somebody who lashes out and is a negative person has a lot of issues in their life, or is going through a lot of things that deserves understanding. It deserves our compassion. Tolerance is necessary to be positive. Last year, I broke my leg in a really bad way. Skateboarding. I was in an empty bowl, laying there. My bone was almost coming out of my skin. So at that point, how was I to be positive? Was I looking on the bright side? At least I didn't break my back, and at least my kids are still alive. No, I wasn't thinking that stuff. I was just dealing. I was in the moment dealing with that pain. So the point is that everyday circumstance, everyday difficulties train us in positivity, in tolerance, in understanding, in compassion. Not a week goes by without some sort of difficulty, without some sort of difficult person coming along and bothering you or getting under your skin. Because the question may be raised, how do you get tolerance? How do you get compassion? And many times the answer will be spirituality, religion, and that's true if taken seriously. But it's not absolutely necessary to gain the traits of positivity, because everyday life happens. Everyday life will test you. If you fail over and over, which we will, if you fail over and over at being tolerant, at being kind, at being compassionate, you'll get another chance. Guarantee you'll get another chance. Such is life. We have examples within societies of true positivity, of tolerance. The obvious one would be Yeshua, Christ, sitting on a cross or hanging on a cross, and the people before him who actually tortured him, killed him before he died. What did he say? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. That's being positive. Not lashing out, that's being positive for sure. The Buddha, he had a disciple who left him and started his own kind of group, taking people away from the Buddha, saying he wasn't practicing strict enough and all kinds of things against the Buddha. And he actually got a pretty good following. He got a pretty good following going. And so the Buddha, out of compassion, and his disciples out of compassion, two of his main disciples, I believe it was two, went to go and join that group, kind of undercover. And when they went to the group, that disciple who had started that group knew them. He knew that they were senior disciples of the Buddha. And so he accepted them with open arms and had them give lecture for several weeks. After those several weeks, the disciples that were in that group, they thought, my gosh, these guys are fantastic. They really know the path. And one day in the lecture, those disciples said, actually, everything we've taught you in the last several weeks, this is actually from the Buddha. And what you have learned from this new teaching is not Buddhism. Of course, it wasn't called Buddhism yet. It is not the teaching of the Buddha. So if you want the real teaching, come with us. And at that, they all left and went back to the Buddha. This disciple who started this crew, this whole discipleship, went, and Buddha was sitting on top of a hill and talking with some disciples, standing up. And this disciple who had left and started this group, took a boulder and pushed it off a cliff, and it landed on the Buddha's foot and really injured him very badly. And of course the disciples went to retaliate. Go get this guy. Let's go get this guy, you know. And the Buddha's response was, no, just go get help. I'm going to sit here. And so he did. He sat there with his pain, not complaining about the pain, because complaining about your pain isn't going to do anything to take away the pain. So he sat with his pain, and he didn't ignore it. He acknowledged it. And eventually, I believe that disciple who did that, you know, recanted, you know, repented in a sense. And so that positivity, that non-retaliation, is what changed the heart of that man and changed the heart of others, so much so that we're speaking about the story now. So everyday life will teach us positivity, tolerance, compassion. No doubt about it. So that's it. That's my little take on it. Hopefully that's added a little bit to the messages of positivity. It's always good to speak on. Yeah. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Beautiful Pacific Ocean. All right, guys. Have a great week, and we'll catch you soon. Peace.